Welcome to Normal Baseball's 2023 Will Be Team Projection Series. Today, we have the St. Louis Cardinals. Let's get into it. What's going on? Welcome back to yet another Normal Baseball 2023 Will Be Team Projection. Today we have the St. Louis Cardinals. We thank you guys for coming to listen. I'm Alex Normal Dog. That's Lewis. And today we are going to be talking all about the St. Louis Cardinals. We hope you enjoy in advance. And if you do enjoy, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and follow, and share, and tell your friends. Let's do it. So, what we did is we made a team power ranking system for this upcoming season, and we ranked every single team in Major League Baseball on a scale of 1 to 10 based on their lineup, bench, defense, rotation, bullpen, coaching, and energy. We got the cumulative scores, and we went from highest to lowest, 1 to 30. And the St. Louis Cardinals, who we are talking about today, came out to be the 8th best team in baseball and the 5th best team in the National League. Yeah. St. Louis Cardinals. I mean, they won the NL Central last season with a record of 39-69. Yeah. Nice. But they got completely upset by the Phillies in the wild card round. Obviously, the Phillies would go on to win the National League and lose in the World Series to the Astros anyway. But they did get very upset, and they kind of disappointed their fan base at the end of last season by losing 2 games at home to a team that, going into that series, they were supposed to beat. So let's talk about what we think they can do this season, how we think their team is stacking up, and what's going on with them. Are you ready, Lewis?
Sounds good. Let's jump into it.
Starting with their lineup. Their lineup, we gave an 8.3 out of 10. Very high on this lineup. This lineup is looking like Tommy Edman at shortstop, Tyler ONeill in center field, MVP Paul Goldschmidt at first base, Nolan Arenado at third base, Wilson Contreras, free agent pickup at catcher, Dylan Carlson at right field, Lars Nootbaar in left field, fan favorite, Juan Yepez DHing currently, and Brendan Donovan at second base, a sneaky Rookie of the Year candidate last season. Oh, yeah. So, I think this is a really good lineup, especially when you have the reigning NL MVP, which I do have a question about. Do you think Paul Goldschmidt can follow up this season? Or rather, do you think Paul Goldschmidt can follow up his NL MVP season last year with a similar season this year?
Is that where we're starting this episode?
Yeah, might as well.
I'm going to be bold, although I don't want to root for it. I just think this is the truth. I don't think that we will see him come close to what he did last season. I don't want to say that he caught lightning in a bottle, because he is great. He has been chasing that MVP ever since he was in Arizona. However, I think now that he got it, he is going to be 36 years old, closer to the All-Star break, I believe, if not just after that. So he's going to be 35, 36 years old this season. Don't really know how much more he has in the tank. Hopefully a lot, because it's a lot of fun to watch him play first base and, just smack doubles and homers, because he is just a great ball player. But I don't think that, especially with the caliber of every player in the National League, we could see Paul Goldschmidt replicate his 2022 MVP season.
While I somewhat agree, he won't fully replicate his MVP season. I don't think he'll be like one of the top 3 for MVP this season. Just solely based on what he's done in his past career. Like, yes, he always puts up good seasons, but this year he just kind of put up a very plus season. Yes, he just, everything clicked at the right times. He stayed hot all year. Can that happen next season? Yes, of course it can.
Of course it can.
Do I think it will? No. I personally don't think he'll have a better season than last year. I don't think he'll have a same season. I think he'll have a worse season, but not by much, and still up to Paul Goldschmidt standards. He's going to bat in the high 290s, 280s, that range, and he's going to be getting on base at a big clip. He's going to be a very solid, valuable piece for this team, whether or not he puts up the MVP numbers again. So that's my thought on it. So I guess both of us think that him following up his MVP year, he is going to get a little worse, which you don't usually think with an MVP. But yes, when you look at him, he's 34, and it just, like you said, you put it in perfect words, in my opinion. He caught lightning in a bottle. He kind of all the right things clicked for the entire season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely still looking forward to him. As for the rest of the lineup, obviously Nolan Arenado.
Amazing.
Amazing.
I think...
Dare I say living legend of third base. You know, like he's just one of a million, once in a generation, once in every 5 generations.
I also do want to say Nolan Arenado is kind of on the same level as Paul Goldschmidt in terms of throughout his entire career so far, he's played 10 years in the majors now, he has come close to winning that MVP every year. Most years. I won't say every. Most years. He has come very close to winning that MVP. And it feels like he can have that kind of season that Paul Goldschmidt has. It feels like he's chasing that MVP, and eventually it feels like he is going to get it. Will this be the year, do you think?
I want to say yes, but again, there's so many unknowns, so many different variables that are going into the National League MVP voting this season. I don't know, but it certainly is a wide open race, and if Nolan Arenado wins it, you will not see me complaining one bit about it.
Me neither. I mean, he just had a good year compared to the last 2 years he's had. Batting almost 300, almost 900 OPS, 30 homers, 42 doubles. Like, he just kind of went off last season. He was a big part of their lineup, and I think he'll continue to do that. This is kind of one of those players who, yes, he played in Coors Field a lot in the beginning of his career, but coming out of it, he's playing just as good. Yes, the last year, 2 years ago rather now, in 2021, he didn't have a great year, and a lot of people said, Coors effect, hey, look at that. But I think that was mostly just, took a full season, get adjusted to your team, get adjusted to the new settings. He kind of went off last year, and I love it. I love it, and yes, like you said, I would not be complaining if he did catch lightning in a bottle and just this was his year to win MVP.
Yeah, of course. I'm really a big Nolan Arenado fan. I also love how, just to give a little bit of background, Nolan Arenado was originally on the Rockies. Rockies basically paid for the St. Louis Cardinals to take Nolan Arenado in exchange for taking on, I think it's like a third of the contract. And him opting into the contract that he just opted into this offseason effectively is one giant fuck you to the Rockies organization. He's making them pay $16 million per year for each of the last parts of his contract, which is just absolutely hilarious to me. I'm looking forward to seeing him compete for another MVP. I think it might be crazy to say this, but it might be the year in which he does get over that top 3 finish, where he does finish first, hopefully. I'm rooting for a bunch of guys to win that MVP this year, especially in the National League.
There you go. Another guy I want to talk about on this roster is Tommy Edman, who had a good year last year, and I think he'll continue to get better. That's really most of the bulk of what I wanted to say. I just think Tommy Edman will continue to get better. He's got the speed, he's got the contact. He'll continue to improve. Another kind of wild card. Another guy we could talk about. Tyler ONeill feels like a wild card this year.
Certainly does.
He has his good moments, but he also has his really bad moments. Last season, he hit 228 in 96 games with only 700 OPS. Like, yes, he had 14 homers and 11 doubles, but in 96 games, that's not what they want him to have. Yeah. In 2021, he played 138 games, batted 286. So what went wrong for Tyler ONeill this season needs to be fixed, because currently he is a wild card, and that's not a place that you want to be considered, because obviously you don't want people being like, yeah, this guy could be really good, or he could be horrible. So I'd like to see Tyler ONeill play better this season. I think he is going to be a big factor in this lineup, depending on whether he plays good or bad.
Yeah, that's true, and you also do have to remember that as of right now, at least on Fangraphs, is what Alex and I are both using to help display all these teams for everybody. They have Tyler ONeill slated to play center field.
I think he will.
Whereas most of his career so far, he has played left field. But if there's anybody who's up to the challenge and who will definitely conquer the mountain and climb to the top, we're talking about Tyler ONeill. I think he's more than fit to play center field, especially in Busch Stadium, which is notoriously a very, very large center field. I think he's going to take care of it pretty well.
Yeah, like you said, he's played most games in left field in his career. He has, that's true. But he has played some games in center field. Last year, he played 21 games in center field, which, yes, isn't a lot, but it's not nothing compared to what he's played in the last few years. I think it makes the most sense with the other guys they have in this outfield.
Yeah.
You can make an argument that Lars Nootbaar should be playing center. I don't know. I think Tyler ONeill has the speed. Like, when you really think about it, Tyler ONeill... And the arm. Tyler ONeill is a speedy guy. He is. He's kind of underrated speed-wise. 14 steals last year, 15 steals the year before. I'm interested to see if they do wind up keeping him in center field all season.
I think that the only reason why he will stay in center field all season is out of the 3 outfielders that they do have starting, he easily, and no disrespect to Dylan Carlson or Lars Nootbaar, has the most accurate and powerful arm, which in the AL Central, in the NL Central in general, but especially in Busch Stadium, where they play 81 out of their 162 games, it's big. Ball's hitting that gap. It's going to be the center fielder's job to get it in, and Tyler ONeill has a cannon, could probably one-hop it to home plate if he needed to.
Okay. Yeah, that's Tyler ONeill. I still think, at the end of the day, he's a wild card, in my opinion.
Yep.
Moving on to kind of the bottom half of their lineup, Lars Nootbaar, who is currently playing in the World Baseball Classic, is making a lot of noise there.
Hey, he's become a fan favorite over in, is it?
Japan.
Yeah, in Japan. He has the whole country doing the grind the pepper. I was just talking about it today. It's my favorite thing ever.
It's fair. Another guy, Juan Yepez, who they currently have slotted into DH. I'm interested to see if he will be DHing that much this season.
Walk-off legend
Juan Yepez. Cardinals fans, you know what we're talking about. He kind of plays everywhere, mostly in the outfield, but he can play third and first. He kind of just does it all. Many are calling him the next Albert Pujols. So we'll see where that kind of leads up. Obviously, it was his first year in the majors last season. He only played 76 games. And yes, he didn't have Pujols numbers, but who's saying he can't get there? To me, he is the next Albert Pujols. And yes, I am going to make that bold statement right now, and I'm going to stick to it. He is the next Albert Pujols.
He really said it live on air. Juan Yepez is the next Albert Pujols.
And I believe it. I truly do believe it.
All right. Anyways.
I'd be lying if I said I was not truly in belief of that.
Okay. Anyways, on to the last, but far from the least.
Do you want to leave that for now? Do you want to talk about Brendan Donovan after?
No.
No, you want to talk about him now?
Yeah,
okay.
Brendan Donovan. Could have made a very strong case to win Rookie of the Year. Again, part of arguably one of the best rookie classes that we've ever seen in recent history. Well, I shouldn't say definitely, Brendan Donovan was part of one of the best rookie classes we've seen in recent history. Looked absolutely amazing. Had it not been for the Braves being the Braves and developing young talent the way that they do, we would be talking about how he just won National League Rookie of the Year. But all in all, an absolute great player, absolute stud, can play anywhere on the field. Fangraphs has him playing second, but if you told me on opening day he's going to play 3 different positions and make an amazing Gold Glove caliber play at each position, I'd believe you.
Fair. Yeah, Brendan Donovan is a guy who I personally love. I'm glad he's going to be playing. I keep saying I'm glad. I hope they keep him at second for most of the year. Yes, I know they have Nolan Gorman down there, who we'll talk about in a minute. But I hope they keep him at one position. I know there's this idea of, yes, super utility guys are so useful in today's day and age, especially when you can have one that bats like he does. And already we're seeing that he is probably going to have a very good season this year to follow up last season. I still think that, yes, you can make the argument that the super utility is insanely valuable, but also having a second baseman who is your second baseman, he's going to be there, and just that is his position. There's also some value in that, and I personally like that more than the super utility aspect of it, especially when you have a guy this good. To me, super utility players are not supposed to be as good as Brendan Donovan. Like, if you keep him at one position, maybe his bat will get even better, and he can turn into one of those guys who, this is one of the best second basemen in baseball, rather than just saying, like,
this is one of the best
this is
utility
like,
players.
yeah, he's a utility guy, he's plays kind of everywhere. Like, you get more power, like star power and name recognition out of the guy when you let him play at one position, and that's what I'm a fan of. So I hope he does play at second this season.
Yeah, I certainly agree with you. However, I do think that we will see him bounce around position-wise. Definitely, especially when guys need days off or, knock on wood, no injuries happen. However, if there were to be, Brendan Donovan will be the first guy that they look to push into that position that is now vacant. If you told me that he could pitch, I'd believe you. If you told me that he could catch, I'd believe you.
I wouldn't believe the pitching one.
I would.
Fair. There's a point in that.
He definitely could pitch if they needed him to pitch. If they were doing a double,
let's be real. Let's be real. You would not be comfortable with him pitching. Let's not
speak for yourself. As the resident Cardinals fan here,
resident.
If they were doing a day-night doubleheader and I got the notification on my phone, oh my God, St. Louis, Milwaukee doubleheader starts now. 1:05 start. Who's going for the Cardinals? Brendan Donovan. All right, we'll get 3 good innings out of him. I'd buy into it.
You would be shocked.
Bullshit,
you would be shocked.
I'd buy into it. This guy can do absolutely anything on a diamond, and I'm looking forward to watching him play.
I get what you're trying to say about he could do everything.
He can do everything.
He ain't
I'll
no
double
Shohei.
down on it.
He ain't no Shohei. Moving on.
Shohei ain't no Brendan Donovan.
Moving on. You're right, he's not. Moving on. Their bench. We gave their bench a 6.1 out of 10. I don't want to talk about this. If I'm being honest, I do not want to talk about this bench for too long. It's very boring. Andrew Kitzner, who will be their backup catcher to Wilson Contreras, who we also didn't even talk about in all of that somehow.
Yeah. Well, we talked about
Wilson Contreras.
Two-way phenomenon.
Can we both agree Wilson Contreras going to get worse this year? Whether Cardinals fans like it or not.
Yes, and I don't like to admit it, but
neither do I. But
also, Cardinals fans, it's no longer Yadier Molina, so don't. It's just a hard thing to cope with, even for us as not the biggest Cardinals superfans in the world. It's hard for us to even cope with the fact that Yadier Molina will not be catching for the St. Louis Cardinals anymore. But go do as well as you can, Wilson Contreras, and, we'll see. But, again, I do think that we can agree on a drop-off.
Yeah. Especially because his career numbers at Busch Stadium aren't good either. He had a little overrated of a season last year, dare I say. His defense isn't amazing, just all around. But anyway, going back to their bench, I do not want to talk about this for that long. Andrew Kitzner, catcher, backing up, I almost said Yachty. Wilson Contreras, Paul DeYoung, who is just kind of play short behind Tommy Edman when he's not playing. Nolan Gorman, who, like we said, couldn't compete for that second base role with Brendan Donovan if they choose to keep Brendan Donovan as a super utility kind of guy. And Alec Burleson, another guy who I really just don't want to talk about.
Yeah, Nolan Gorman is the only guy who I want to touch on just because he is a rookie. Well, he was a rookie last year. Played both, I believe, second base and center field. And he looked okay. He had a 106 OPS plus across 89 games, where he had 14 homers, 35 RBIs, but 100 strikeouts for a 226 batting average. Could be better, definitely with how this Cardinals team is lined up. He'll have the opportunity to learn from some of the greatest hitters in the game of baseball right now. So I hope that those numbers can make a jump.
Yeah, I agree. All right. So are you okay with moving on from the bench from now?
Yeah.
I just kind of wanted to speed through the bench. This one is kind of an obvious one that I feel like don't have to talk about too much. Their defense, 9.2 out of 10 we gave them. They're the best defensive team in baseball. They have been for the last couple of years. When you have Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt at corners of the infield, not to mention just some of the other guys in this lineup, Wilson Contreras, yes, you take a hit at the catcher position when it comes to defense. Yadier Molina, no one ran on Yadier Molina.
True.
Literally no one. And now Wilson Contreras, I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot more steals against the Cardinals, but regardless, Brendan Donovan, like we said, is a good defender no matter where you put him. Mm-hmm. Tommy Edman has been a good defender.
Nolan Arenado, platinum lover.
Of course, yeah. Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt at both sides of the infield. It's a very good defense. There's a reason they've won team defensive defensive team of the year for the last 2 years.
There's a reason why they
really
had,
good.
what was it, 6 Gold Glove winners 2 seasons ago and 3 or something this past season. Just in all around, I think the best defensive team that we could be talking about in baseball. And this definitely, even with Wilson Contreras, definitely still one of the best, if not the best still.
Yeah, I think it's a little closer than it was in previous years because Yadi, if Yadi was still on this team,
it's a 10.
9-8, yeah.
It's a 10.
It's very close. But Wilson Contreras does kind of bring that down. Still very good, like you said. Do we want to move over to their pitching now, the other side of the ball?
Let's do it.
Let's move over to their pitching. Their rotation. We gave their starting rotation an 8.2 out of 10. A pretty good score. It's looking like Adam Wainwright, Miles Michaelis, Jordan Montgomery, who they received in a trade last year with the Yankees, Jack Flaherty, who they're hoping can be healthy all season, and Steven Matz. Steven Matz, a guy who just kind of didn't make too much noise last season, mostly because of the fact that he only pitched in 15 games, which, that'll do it. But hoping to see more of him this season as well. I really like this rotation. If I am being 100% honest with you, I really, really like this rotation.
Oh, yeah. There's so much to look forward to in this rotation. Obviously, you and I are most familiar with Jordan Montgomery, who came over to the Cardinals last trade deadline for Harrison Bader, and another guy who we're familiar with who has been essentially pitching since you were born.
Yeah, really.
is Adam Wainwright, who...
See when his debut was.
When was it?
September 11, 2005. Yeah.
So
close.
Almost since when you were born. Adam Wainwright has been
a year and a half.
Yeah. For almost as long as you've been alive.
Yeah.
But he did just announce, though, that this is his final season, his victory lap around what I would consider one of the most interesting and coolest careers for a pitcher that never really amounted to the levels of, multiple World Series rings, ERA titles, Cy Youngs.
Just he has multiple World Series.
I know, but I'm saying it never amounted to what it could have been in the first half of his career. I'm saying.
No, he only has one World Series. That's my fault.
Really?
How? Was he not on the 2013 Cardinals?
Just not. That stinks.
Did they not win the World Series?
Oh, they did.
I don't know what I'm missing.
Did he just not play in
2013? Oh, no. Didn't the Red Sox win? What are we messing up here? I don't know.
He didn't play in
2011 was the year they won the World Series, and he didn't play for whatever reason. Okay, that makes sense. So he should have been 2-time. Okay,
yeah,
go
but
on.
Still, one of the most interesting players, if you ever have the opportunity, just go through the internet and just read stuff about Adam Wainwright. He's such a cool guy and an interesting character in baseball, and I'm happy that he's getting a victory lap.
Yeah, me too. It's kind of interesting to me because if he feels like one of those guys that doesn't really need to retire. Yes, you've had a long year and you're 40 years old. 3.71 ERA last season. You still are a valuable pitcher in this league. He's going to be pitching for Team USA. He's pitching in the first game against Britain on Sunday. Currently, that game would have already happened by the time you're watching this. But he pitched and he's scheduled to pitch in that game right now. He 3.71 ERA last season, 1.283 WHIP. He had a good year last year, and I don't want to say I'm surprised that he's retiring, but it is a little sad to see such a good player still who can still be a quality guy in this Cardinals rotation give it one last ride. But can we clap it up for the career of Adam Wainwright?
Yeah. Silver Slugger award winner Adam Wainwright.
Yeah.
Hell of a career. Let's see him win one more.
Yeah, another Silver Slugger. Every time he plays, they DH
They show him.
Yeah.
They show him. As for the rest of the starting rotation, Miles Michaelis looked really good, especially in the second half of last season. He looked really good. Steven Matz, as Alex mentioned, solid, and Jack Flaherty. I think I might be the number one Jack Flaherty fan. I am pushing so hard for him to just have a full healthy season, because if he does, we're talking about a starting rotation that's firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
Yep.
I'm interested to see what Jordan Montgomery can put together this season. Like we said, Jordan Montgomery had a very promising year last year. when you look at the smaller sample size. He was out for the beginning of the year, I believe. But yeah, I'm just excited to see what they could do. Same thing with Jack Flaherty. Just stay healthy, Jack Flaherty. If Jack Flaherty stays healthy, he is dangerous. So I feel like this 8.2 is very warranted, especially with Steven Matz, who we really don't know what he's going to do this season.
Yeah.
I feel like that's fair to say, especially after last year. So we'll see. But overall, a very, very good rotation. Very
good. Really solid.
Do we want to get over to the bullpen?
Yes,
which we also gave an 8.2.
We did.
Ryan Helsley, Giovanni Gallegos, Jordan Hicks, Genesis Cabrera, Chris Stratton, Dakota Hudson, Drew Verhagen, Andre Palante. Obviously, the three big names in this bullpen, Hicks, Gallegos, and Helsley, who Helsley kind of came out of nowhere last season, and he is also one of the most dominant relievers in all of baseball.
Pumps fucking gas.
Gas.
That's the only way to explain Ryan Helsley. He's electric. His entrance is amazing. Amazing. I will admit it is a little bit of a ripoff from... Oh, crap. Who else does the Hells Bells? Who else did it?
Just go on.
But still, amazing pitcher. Gallegos, although I believe he had a little bit of a down year last year, is still one of the better pitchers, if not, obviously in the top three. Yeah, he had a 3.5 ERA over 59 innings.
Trevor Hoffman.
Trevor Hoffman, thank you. I mean, his number, actually, I completely lied. Gallegos' numbers look good. So did Genesis Cabrera. Also had very good numbers for the most part. So I'm just looking forward to seeing this bullpen slam the door in the 6th inning.
I missed what you said originally about Gallegos. Did you think his numbers weren't good?
I don't know who I'm thinking of.
Gallegos had a very underrated season last year. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was gonna highlight him. I mean, he is. You think of Hicks and
who was I thinking?
You think of Hicks and Helsley when you think of this kind of bullpen, but Gallegos is also just right up there. Hicks, they tried starting him last season. He started 8 games. It just did not work. They brought him back to the bullpen where he belongs, and he was a lot better. So, Jordan Hicks, stay in the bullpen this year, please.
Wow. Jesus.
But yeah, that's their bullpen. Do you have any other notes about their bullpen? Like I said, the other guys are good. Palante is another guy who pitched in 47 games with a 3.17 ERA. How many strikeouts? 73 strikeouts in 108 innings, so he kind of ate up a lot of innings as well. But he also did start 10 games. Just interested to see what this bullpen can do, and I think they're going to be very shut down. And I think not many people are going to expect that, but I think they will be.
Oh yeah, they'll definitely be shut down. You know, I think it will be. Oh, excuse me, will be a lot of fun in the 6th, 7th inning to see the 1, 2, 3 of Cabrera, Gallegos, and Helsley come through and just absolutely slam the door on any opponent, especially now with every team playing every team this season. We're going to be seeing them go up against, the Mets, the Red Sox, the Yankees, all the powerhouses, the Astros even, which will be a very fun matchup to watch.
Red Sox aren't as much of a powerhouse. Go
It'll be a lot of fun to just watch them pitch against some of the higher leverage offenses in this game. It'll be a lot of fun.
No, I do certainly agree. Another guy, I'm so sorry. But yeah, I like the bullpen.
Yeah.
In conclusion, I like the bullpen. 8.2. Moving on to their coaching, we gave it a 6.3. Not as good as, we've kind of seen. But if you look, hold on. I don't want to get this wrong, so I'm just going to look it up really quick.
What are we looking up?
Yeah, Oliver Marmol, their manager, took over last season, I believe, if I'm correct. But I don't know. It's just nothing kind of pops out when you think about the Cardinals coaching, which I think is a fair statement to make. No.
Yeah.
Good coaching, but nothing kind of pops out, and I think that's really what we like to base this kind of category on. Like, when you think of their coaching, do you think positive or negative? And for when you think Cardinals, you think, yeah, no, obviously they're a good team, good coaching, but nothing that, like, jumps off the page at you, you know?
Is it crazy to say that it's being the manager of the Cardinals is pretty straightforward? It's not like there's jumping through too many hoops.
Yeah, you got options. You have
options.
the guys that play their positions. Yeah. You have a lot. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
It's hard to mess up a team that's this good that came in at 8 on our power rankings. It's hard to mess it up.
Yeah, I would agree. So, moving on to their energy. We gave their energy as a team a 7.8. Good energy for this team. There are guys that can produce a lot of energy. You got the young guys like Tommy Edman, Tyler O'Neill, Brendan Donovan. Wilson Contreras has just as much energy as anyone else. Arenado, Goldschmidt. It's just a lot of guys that just, when they're playing good, they're feeling good. And it replicates on the field.
And it certainly goes both ways, especially with this lineup. I mean, when they're feeling good and they're playing good, yes, of course, it's super, super hard for any of us to deny that. However, when they're playing bad, you can really see it, especially Wilson Contreras. I think when we watched him on the Cubs last year, it was just so blatantly obvious that when he was having a bad stretch of games, he was very, very much not the young, exciting guy that was needed in that dugout. Not even young, but just not the excited guy who needed the energy to bring his team back from a losing situation type of deal. Definitely could be an anchor of this team. However, an anchor that sinks the ship in this metaphor.
That's wild.
Yeah, I think that Wilson Contreras...
He doesn't like being on a bad team.
I'm sorry?
He doesn't like being on bad teams.
Yeah, no, that I get, but at the same time, you gotta... No, I gotta still... You can't...
Yeah, I know, I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying, I was just making it, from last year, he was miserable in Chicago. So, but I think he'll have a fun time here. Hopefully he doesn't struggle too much, but we did say we think he's going to get a little worse. So, we'll see. If you were counting at home with us, we gave the Cardinals a total score... If you're counting at home with us, we gave the Cardinals a total score of 54.1 out of the possible 70. You are just messing with me right now. Out of the possible 70 points, that is 8th best in the major. You've thrown me off. Okay, yeah, leave. Get out. Leave. Okay, stay there. 54.1 total score out of 70. Get out. Which is 8th best in baseball and the 5th best in the National League according to our power rankings. Lewis, give us a rookie report. Come on, come back. Come on, rookie report.
All right, we're back. Hello, everybody. Clap it up. All right, as for the rookie report for the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, this is not the hardest decision I've ever had to make. I'm giving it rookie reports to both Jordan Walker and Mason Wynn. Jordan Walker is the 4th ranked prospect in all of baseball, 1st in the Cardinals organization. Mason Wynn is the 50th ranked prospect in all of baseball and the 2nd ranked prospect for the St. Louis Cardinals. And it is just so hard to say anything bad about these guys. They are great. There's no other way to put it. In the minor leagues, in 2022, in Double-A ball for Jordan Walker, the number 4 prospect, he hit .306 with an .898 OPS. I mean, just an absolute demon, and he's showing it this spring training, where he has a .429 batting average across 9 games, 28 plate appearances, with 12 hits for a 1.286 OPS. Fantabulous. On top of that, he's been playing great defense, and there's no other way to say it. It is spring training, so guys do get swapped in. 3rd inning, you play 3 innings, and then you're headed out. However, Jordan Walker is making the most out of a situation, and it's making it difficult for the Cardinals organization to ignore it. They definitely either need to look into trading him where he has an extreme amount of value, or they got to call him up and play him somewhere.
Yeah, they ain't trading him.
I know. I'm just telling you the options that they have. And then as for their other prospect, the number 50 ranked prospect in all of baseball, 2nd in their organization, Mason Wynn, another guy who was putting on an absolute clinic in spring training this year. last season in high A ball, and he worked his way all the way up to Double A, where over the course of 119 games, he hit 283 with an 832 OPS, looked absolutely dominant in the box at times, was amazing. And then we get the spring training this year, where you're talking about a guy who's batting 389 with a 1.087 OPS over the course of 7 games, 21 plate appearances, 7 hits, a double, a homer, and 2 RBIs, and he hasn't been caught stealing yet. He has 3 stolen bases, and there are rumors floating around the Cardinals camp that he wants to try to get to maybe double digits by the end of spring training, which I absolutely love that out of him because he has the ability to do so. So, double rookie report, Jordan Walker and Mason Wynn, 2 just absolute studs who make it difficult for the Cardinals to figure out what they want to do.
Love it. I love the double rookie report.
The double rookie report.
Nice.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes.
Now we get to, actually, rather, before we get to those things, I do just want to say that it's a big free agent year for them in terms of pitching. Free agent pitchers after this season, as of right now, Adam Wainwright, who's retiring. Mm-hmm. Miles Michaelis, who just came off an amazing year, hoping to have another good year. Jordan Montgomery, someone in their rotation, obviously. Jack Flaherty, if he can stay healthy and have a good year, he will be worth a good amount of money. Chris Stratton in the pen, and Jordan Hicks also in the pen. So a lot of free agent pitchers on this Cardinals team after this season. So we'll see what they can do. Now, the MVP hitter and pitcher for this team, Lewis, who is the MVP pitcher for this team?
The MVP pitcher,
will be the MVP pitcher?
I am going to trust him. I'm going to believe in him. I'm going to hold faith in him. As I've said earlier, Jack Flaherty, you will be the MVP pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals this season.
Okay, I respect that. I'm going to go with Helsley. I'm going cookie cutter. Helsley. He's lights out. He had a 1.31 ERA last season. He was throwing gas. He was just doing everything right. I'm going Ryan Helsley. MVP hitter, go. Who will be the Cardinals MVP hitter?
I would love for you to go first.
You want me to go first? Tough. A lot of options.
Plenty.
Going with Nolan Arenado.
All right.
Feel like it's right.
I am also going to go with an infielder. I'm going to say Brendan Donovan.
I know you're high on him. You love Brendan Donovan.
Love him.
I had a feeling that was coming.
Yep. I just think, sophomore season is the time to produce even more. Go Brendan.
Go Brendan.
Let's go Cardinals.
Let's go Cardinals. Now we are, first of all, 89.5 wins is their over-under. What do you think?
In the NL Central?
But balanced schedule, they're playing those teams
Balanced schedule. I'm going to say over. Give me 91.
Okay. I'm going to go with over, too. I think they'll definitely hit 90 wins this season.
Yep.
And now, finally, I will say the 2023 St. Louis Cardinals will be, and you will tell me what place in the NL Central they will be this season. Lewis, the 2023 St. Louis Cardinals will be in
first place.
First place.
In the NL Central.
I agree. First place. I agree. It's kind of theirs to lose.
Yep.
At the current moment in time, and there's not much denying that.
Certainly agree.
The St. Louis Cardinals.
St. Louis Cardinals.
Let's give a round of applause for the Cardinals. And yeah, if you enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, follow. Thank you for listening or watching, whether you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music or watching on YouTube. We love you. And let's go Cardinals.
Go Cardinals. Go Birds.
We'll see you guys.
Go Birds, baby.
Let's go Birds. I have a bird.
Let's go Cards.
We will see you guys in the next one.
Yeah, baby.
Peace.